What we witnessed in Week 2 of the NFL season wasn't just a regular season win for the Philadelphia Eagles. It was a statement to the entire league. Not only did the Eagles defeat the Kansas City Chiefs once again, they did it in a way that speaks volumes about who they are, a team built to win ugly, win tough, and win when it matters most. We've seen them beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. We've seen them beat them on the road. And now, they've done it again in one of the loudest, most hostile environments in football, Arrowhead Stadium. Let's make this crystal clear. Patrick Mahomes had never lost 3 games in a row in his NFL career. Until now, the Eagles handed him that 3rd straight loss. This wasn't just a team trying to prove a point. This was a group of players that understand how to navigate the highs and lows of an NFL season and still come out on top. And the fact that Kansas City came into this game desperate, winless, backed into a corner, only makes Philadelphia's win even more impressive. Mahomes is notorious for bouncing back after a loss. Before this game, he had a record of 19 wins and only 4 defeats following a loss. And yet, the Eagles went into Arrowhead, stood their ground, and beat the Chiefs. Again, no fluke, no controversy. They just outplayed them. They weren't perfect. Far from it. But in the key moments, the drives that decide games, they executed. That's what championship-caliber teams do. It's not always about playing the cleanest, most explosive football. Sometimes it's about bending and not breaking, about making one more play than the other team, about staying composed when the other side starts to unravel. The crowd at Arrowhead was electric. Chiefs fans showed up loud and passionate, and Eagles fans made their presence felt too. You could feel the tension from the first snap. The storyline was built perfectly. Super Bowl rematch, national television, 2 of the NFL's powerhouse franchises going head-to-head. And while Kansas City pulled every trick out of the book, from exotic blitz packages to creative offensive looks and Mahomes trying to play superhero, it just wasn't enough. The Eagles, even while playing what felt like a B- game, had the mental toughness and depth to weather the storm and seal the deal. This game was physical. This game was emotional. It was messy at times, but the Eagles held steady. They made second-half adjustments. They didn't allow the moment to overwhelm them. They didn't fold to the pressure. That's the DNA of a championship team. And this game proved, once again, that the Philadelphia Eagles are one of the most complete and mentally prepared squads in the NFL. They are built in the trenches. Offensively and defensively, their lines dominate. That's where it all starts. Add to that a tough run game, playmakers at key positions, smart coaching, and a quarterback who doesn't flinch, and you got a formula that wins deep into January and February. The Eagles aren't always flashy. They aren't always going to wow you with big plays. But like a boa constrictor, they squeeze the life out of you over 4 quarters. Their depth, their conditioning, their physicality, it wears you down. The most remarkable part of this win was what it says about the defense. This Eagles defense had to replace more than 4,000 snaps from last season's top-ranked unit. They lost veterans. They lost leaders. They lost impact players. And yet, here they are, giving up only 7 points in the second half through the first 2 weeks of the season. That's not just about talent. That's about structure. That's about mindset. That's about trust in the system and in each other. Vic Fangio has been masterful. What makes him so good isn't just his experience or reputation. It's his flexibility, his willingness to adapt. Last time these teams met in the Super Bowl, the Eagles didn't blitz once. This time they brought the heat. 11 blitzes, nearly 30% of their defensive snaps. They sacked Mahomes twice, hit him 10 times, and kept the Chiefs under 300 yards of offense. That's against Andy Reid. That's against Mahomes. That's not easy to do. And it speaks to how well Fangio is using the youth and athleticism of this defense. Players like Jahad Campbell are exploding onto the scene. He's being used everywhere. Off-ball linebacker, edge rusher, coverage guy, run stopper. He's making impact plays already. That's what you want out of your early draft picks. And Andrew Makuba, he's looking like a steal. In college, he was always around the football. Fast forward to now, and he's making huge plays in big moments. Against the Chiefs, he recovered a fumble, nearly had a pick six, and delivered a textbook tackle to prevent a first down in a critical spot. He's undersized, but he plays big. He plays smart. And most importantly, he plays fast. The defensive line is eating. Jordan Davis looks better than ever. Jalen Carter returned from suspension and was back to being disruptive from the opening snap. And how about Zadarius Smith? He signed with Philly for a discount because he wanted to be here, and in his debut, he made an immediate impact. 20 snaps, 4 tackles, a half sack, and constant pressure. And it's not just about the stats, it's the veteran presence he brings. He's taken over Brandon Graham's locker for a reason. This is a guy who's supposed to lead, and he's already doing it. What's even more encouraging is that this defense still has room to grow. They can tighten up communication in the secondary. They can clean up some blown coverages. But what we're seeing right now is a young unit that plays fast, plays hard, and plays together. And when you mix that with a coordinator like Fangio, who's willing to evolve, that's dangerous for everyone else in the league. On the offensive side, the Eagles aren't quite clicking yet. That's obvious. But they're not turning the ball over. And that matters. Jalen Hurts hasn't put up huge numbers, but he's playing smart football. He's playing clutch football. When it's 3rd and long, when the game is on the line, he's making plays. Like that perfect deep shot to Devonta Smith on 3rd and 10 with the game hanging in the balance. The blitz was coming, no safety help over the top, and Hurts put on the money. That's big-time quarterback play. Off-platform throw. Pressure in his face. Trusted his guy and delivered. And let's talk about Saquon Barkley on that same play. He wasn't just there to pick up a block. He crossed the formation, picked up the right blitzer, and gave Hurts the clean pocket he needed to step up and deliver that throw. That's high IQ football. That's the little detail that doesn't show up in the box score, but changes the outcome of a game. The tush-push, as always, stirred up controversy. It always does. And it started to feel like the NFL will eventually cave to the pressure and ban it. Not because it's unsafe or unfair, but because the Eagles are the only ones who know how to execute it properly. Other teams try it. They fail. Philadelphia turns it into an automatic first down. Every time. That's not a loophole. That's just being better. And people hate it. But you know what? If you don't like it, stop it. While a lot of the post-game attention naturally focused on the defense and the physicality of the win, the real conversation that's been brewing among Eagles fans, and rightly so, is about the offense. Through 2 games in the 2025 season, Philadelphia's offensive production has been, let's just say, underwhelming. Not disastrous, not panic-inducing, but far from explosive. And in a city like Philadelphia, where football IQ is high and expectations are even higher, fans are already pointing fingers, specifically in the direction of offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo. The calls for his job have already begun, and we're only 2 weeks into the season. It's worth remembering that this time last year, the Eagles' offense wasn't exactly lighting up scoreboards either. They started slow in 2024, and that team went on to win the Super Bowl. Early season struggles, especially after a short offseason, are nothing new. The transition from training camp into real games can be bumpy, especially for a unit like this one that returned so much of its core, but is now operating under a new play caller. Patullo has only 2 games under his belt as a full-time offensive coordinator. And in those 2 games, he went up against Matt Eberflus and Steve Spagnuolo, 2 veteran defensive minds who know how to confuse even the most experienced quarterbacks and coordinators. That said, there are issues that can't be ignored. The passing game has been overly conservative. Routes are short, concepts are repetitive, and the vertical attack that made this offense so dynamic in years past has barely shown up. Jalen Hurts isn't being put in position to stretch the field. The wide receivers, despite being one of the most talented groups in the league, aren't getting separation on deeper routes. And the passing charts don't lie. Hurts is working mostly underneath, avoiding risky throws, and keeping things safe. That's great if you're playing not to lose. But to beat elite teams consistently, you've got to be able to open things up. And you can tell, by watching the tape, that Hurts has time. The protection is holding up. The offensive line, as always, is doing its job. Hurts isn't running for his life. He's standing in a clean pocket and scanning the field. But when you freeze the frame, time and time again, what do you see? Everyone's covered. Every route is blanketed. There's no space. There's no creativity. That's on the coaching staff. That's on the play design. You can't expect Hurts to perform magic every down when the playbook is predictable and the receivers are running into coverage. Still, there's value in what the Eagles are doing. They're playing smart, turnover-free football, and that matters. They're managing games with the idea that the defense will keep them close, and Hurts will make the big plays when needed. That's been the formula through 2 weeks. It's not pretty, but it's working, and the moment Patullo starts to feel more comfortable, the more likely we are to see this offense begin to evolve. Growing pains are natural. The difference is whether you can survive them while still winning games. And that's exactly what Philadelphia is doing. Jalen Hurts, to his credit, has looked composed. His numbers won't blow you away, but he's been surgical on third down. Against the Chiefs, he went 6 for 8 on third downs with a quarterback rating of over 95. Against the Cowboys in Week 1, he was a perfect 6 for 6 on third downs and rushed for 32 yards on 7 carries, including a touchdown. That kind of situational execution doesn't show up in highlight reels, but it wins you football games. That's leadership. That's clutch play. That's exactly what you want from your quarterback. The one deep shot Hurts did take in the Kansas City game, connecting with Devonta Smith on a 3rd and 10, was a perfect example of what this offense can be when it's aggressive and confident. No safety help, all-out blitz from the Chiefs, and Hurts recognizes it instantly. Saquon Barkley crosses the formation, picks up the blitzer, and gives Hurts just enough time. Off his back foot, with pressure in his face, Hurts drops a dime to Smith, who adjusts to the ball mid-route and pulls it in over Trent McDuffie. It's a high-level play from everyone involved, but it also raises the question, if they can do this, why don't we see it more often? That's what the fans are asking. That's where the frustration lies. Because it's not that the Eagles don't have the talent. They do. It's not that Hurts can't make the throws. He's already proven he can. It's the conservative approach. The safe, measured game plans that feel more like damage control than attack mode. And in a city that demands aggression, it's going to keep being a storyline until something changes. Still, it's hard to argue with the results. The Eagles are 2-0. That's better than they started last year. And they've done it while being far from perfect. That says a lot about the structure of this team, about the depth, about the coaching staff, about the culture. And let's be honest, this isn't new. The Eagles have started slow before and ended red hot. In 2024, after a shaky opening month, they didn't lose a game started and finished by Hurts until deep into the season. The rhythm came. The points came. The dominance came. Maybe that's what's happening again. What makes all of this more impressive is how much this team had to deal with in the offseason. Short rest after a deep playoff run. No preseason reps for the starters. Coaching changes on both sides of the ball. Key veterans departing. That's a lot to overcome. And yet here they are looking physically sharp, mentally locked in, and emotionally resilient. That's not easy to pull off. Most teams would stumble under that weight. The Eagles are soaring. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the NFL community, Kansas City Chiefs head coach Patrick Rivers reportedly made headlines for comments about the Philadelphia Eagles that have left fans of both teams buzzing. Speaking at a press conference earlier this week, Rivers did not mince words, allegedly criticizing the Eagles' playing style and questioning their ability to perform under pressure. According to insiders, the remarks were meant to be tongue-in-cheek, but they quickly took on a life of their own once reported by several sports blogs. It was meant to be lighthearted, just a bit of competitive banter, a source close to the Chiefs' locker room claimed. But once it hit social media, it exploded in a way nobody expected. Social media platforms erupted almost immediately, with Eagles fans responding with a mix of disbelief, outrage, and playful trash talk. Some commentators have speculated that Rivers' comments might be a calculated tactic designed to get into the Eagles' heads ahead of the highly anticipated matchup later this season. Others argue that it's simply a case of a coach letting his competitive spirit get the best of him. Rumors are swirling that this incident could spark even more intense rivalry between the two franchises, potentially setting the stage for one of the most talked-about games of the season. Some fans have already started campaigns on Twitter, using hashtags to defend their team and taunt the Chiefs, while others speculate about possible responses from Eagles head coach Marcus Green. Will Green respond publicly, or will he let his players handle the on-field rebuttal? Analysts are divided, and insiders say the locker room atmosphere for both teams has become electric with anticipation. Meanwhile, league officials have reportedly received calls from concerned fans, though no official reprimand has been issued. Experts suggest that while such comments are not unprecedented in the NFL, the timing and intensity of Rivers' statements make this situation particularly combustible. If nothing else, it seems certain that when the Chiefs face the Eagles, every eye in the stadium will be watching, and every fan will be ready for fireworks, both on and off the field. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.